ram it through, and he knows like some of these are nothing.
I remember like watching him do a special, and like the thing that killed me, I'll never forget. He says to some guy up front, and I think it was a play. It's because where'd you get that suit? That come with 2 pairs of pants and a yo-yo? Two pairs of pants and a yo-yo. What is that?
He would go. There's this like 5. I think it's like it might be like 5 hours long of him every like. It was like I think it was like every Letterman appearance for Rickles from like 83 all the way till when like his like final one, and it just like
when he came out with the cane,
when he would be out there already, like they would come back from a commercial break, he'd be sitting there because he couldn't walk. Right. So, but he would be like one of the meanest and funniest things. He did this. He would do variations on jokes where he'd be like, you know, Dave, I was on Jerry Lewis's telethon, and he comes out, he sings, "You'll Never Walk Alone." The kids get up and leave. And it's just like, that's the meanest thing. But he just like...
There are moments where you watch Rickles, and he's filled with real fury. Like, you know, like you can see it. Like, it's all cute, but like there's something behind there that's sort of like, oh, my God.
Yeah. Well, it must be a thing to know you're the court jester...
For them,
for these like.
Did you ever see that one of him just where they set up a makeshift Vegas lounge for him to entertain people in show business? Have you seen that?
I don't know. It
was like I don't know who did it. It was a Dean Martin roast or something. I think I might have it. But they're like, you know, this guy, he's the guy who does this. So if you've never seen him in Vegas, so they created on the set. Like a stage for him to do his shtick, but in the audience is Pat Boone and like all these weird celebrities of all different kinds, and he just goes at him.
Oh,
it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy because he's sweating, and it's like it's probably how is that not the worst nightmare? You know,
but it must be the worst and the bad. Like he's bulletproof. He knows it's just like I have the mic, I can say whatever I want. And you people are going to laugh.
When he's on the roast, when he says that, like his timing was so good.
Yeah.
When Jimmy Stewart's on the dais, and Rickles like, Jimmy, I talked to the family. You're doing fine.
Those are always the. Oh my God, he would that album. He did this album, Hello Dummy, which is like just the stand up, and it's like
with the song at the end.
I don't know. At the end of it, there's this speech he always did where it's like, I was in the Navy and we stood on that ship and we looked out and we were all brothers. And I don't make fun of little people. You're all big people. Like, it's it's kind of a cop out. But he, like, there's a point where he's like, he's just showing he could, like, make fun of anybody. It's like, where are you from? And the guy's like, I'm Welsh. He's like, yeah, let me make you feel at home. Cave in. Like, so he can just do like a mining joke, and everybody, it's like, I was like, this guy is just like, he can say anything. He could spin anything. It's all rhythm. It's all pace.
Yeah.
And it's just like force of the words.
Yeah.
Like you have to kind of realize how little you need. It's like, it's not unlike the specials. You realize you didn't need a sheep on stage.
No, you don't need anything.
And then
you're better off without even shooting the audience. That was the best thing I started doing. Don't ever cut to the audience. It's just a trick so you can make cuts. Yeah. Why look at that weirdo? Why like evening at the Improvs? It's like, why am I looking at those people?
I never want to see the audience in any of these things, and it just feels like, you know, I can't stand the comedy specials. Whenever there's like this thing when like somebody will make a reference to just like they'll be like, yeah, you know, they'll basically mention some either a gender or an ethnicity, and then they cut to the audience member who lines up with the joke. It's just like that's like the worst thing I ever saw in my life.
The two black people.
Yeah, they're just like,
there was nothing worse than the audience cuts during. I think Paul Rodriguez did a special in a prison. Mm-hmm. Just horrendous.
Well, that might be the only one I would want to see audience reactions to.
But they would cut to, like, people clearly didn't want to be seen.
What is for you the ceiling on what is for comedy, crowd wise, size wise? Like, where do you think it gets lost?
I would say you start to kind of buckle at 1,200.
Okay.
I think you can still kind of make something intimate with 1,200 and make comedy real.
Like you can still reach the back of the room.
Yeah, but once you get up into like 2,000 or 1,500,
what was Carnegie Hall?
2,200.
Yeah,
but that's a different kind of. That room's got like the perfect sound situation.
So that like when you did Carnegie Hall, you felt like you were reaching the people.
I felt like I did not do well. But that
was a fun show. That was such a fun show.
I never got off stage. I did like 2 hours.
It was the greatest because I remember I was sitting there. I was sitting one row, and
from my mother.
Behind your mother, and then you just went off and you did the stuff about your mother, and I'm watching your mother watch this. I'm like, this is the highlight of my life right now. I'm watching this guy reckon with this thing to the person and 20, however many thousand people. Yeah. They're just, right we're all spectators to this guy finally squaring off with his mother.
Did I do that?
Yeah, you were just like, because you're doing the whole thing about just like, why don't I get to pull the plug?
About my brother.
Yeah, your brother gets.
He's the number one. He gets to pull the plug on her.
Yeah.
Why does he get to kill her?
Yeah. It was just like, but seeing you do that
in front of her
to her, it really was just like you could just erase all the. It would just be, it was you and her sitting in Carnegie Hall.
And then I had the lady bring out my phone to read the email from my father.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I was riffing. It's a big night for me to fucking riff for an hour.
Mm-hmm. But that's the cap. That to you is like
no, but that's a different structure. Yeah, that was tricky. I felt the weight of it.
Okay.
Like you could I can feel when I'm open and when it starts to buckle. Like I can feel like in my heart. I can feel like, oh no, it's a fight now.
Sure.
Like I'm losing them back there.
Okay. Do you feel like you lose? This is so interesting to me. Do you feel like when you look at a theater, are you focusing on sections? Are you focusing on the entirety of the room? Are you not even thinking of it when you're in it? When you're on stage?
No, like some theaters like have a good role to them, and you feel buoyed. Like so it really depends also on the acoustics of the theater. But like when I did a symphony hall, both times I did a symphony hall, 3 times.
Okay.
I did one in San Francisco, I did one in England, and I did BAM. Like they're like that type of structure that's built for an orchestra. Like I started to feel like at any second I could get zero laughter.
Okay.
And I don't know why.
Like it was just like there was the potential for like the connection to break. Is that what it is?
Right.
It feels just like
like I'm going to be up here alone and I'm going to hear myself talking and it could happen.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. And I think it's my own fear. Maybe it's something because ultimately that's on me, right? Like I don't know what makes me continue to be confident in those moments. But even when you're bombing, you've got to keep doing the act. So like you do not, and it's a liability. It can happen, and it's a horrible feeling. I don't know why, but like I can't open back up, and here I am, not even on autopilot, but I'm just doing it. But I'm not connecting, and now I got to live with this.
Yeah.
For an hour. It's the worst, and to do and I don't know. I always think about it at a symphony hall. It's sort of like this isn't built for one troubled Jew. This is built. This is built to house a symphony. Of people that spent put together a big thing.
Yeah,
not me going, oh God, what is going to happen with
And do you feel yourself watching yourself do it?
I've only had that happen once or twice.
Like it's like an observant
when
ego.
you leave your body, it's the worst. And like literally, you're like, I'm going to go backstage. You do what you can. I'll meet you back there. I'm sorry, buddy. I just can't hang out for this.
Oh my God! But that's funny that this one form caps out at such a relatively low number before you start to feel like you lose
that's me,
the connection.
That's me, I mean, guys like do arenas, and they but like I still think a lot of that's a cash grab. I mean, who the fuck would go see comedy at a football stadium?
But that's what I don't understand. It's just the idea of like when there was that stretch where all these people were playing Madison Square Garden and they had like, I think Louis and Amy Schumer and everybody was like
got to do the Garden, right?
Yeah, like they were doing the Garden, and it's just like. That's what is that? 15,000 people for a stand-up thing, or if you're not even doing the back, what is it? It's over 10, so it just feels like there's just such a there's such a ceiling on any kind of connection you could have just based on acoustics.
Right, but you're doing a different kind of thing. Your jokes, like I can't, like I like room, so I can fuck off, and find something new, But if you're tight and your jokes land, like you got, in order to do that size of room, your jokes have got to land strong. Yeah. You can't just, you can't be thoughtful. You can't be lyrical, really.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to come to the end of it, and people are going to be like, "Is it done?" So like you'll notice that most of those guys that do the big rooms, they're going to, everything, boom, boom, boom.
Oh yeah, it's got to be. It's like the equivalent of just you have to, it's like if you're going to be a band playing there, you have to just keep your thing has to translate to the whole room.
Well, that's why they play the hits, man. You know what I mean? And it's just got to land. And I could do it, and I've gotten better at doing it. I did those oddball things for 20,000 people, and when I do it, I'm like, which jokes do I know close strong? Yeah. And a lot of guys, that's all they think about, like everything. But some of my jokes are, they're not. It's not they don't close strong, but they go a different direction. They're more personal. But you don't really have that option there.
No, and when you're in a place like that,
you're not
anything that's subtle can read as not working.
Right.
Which is just such a crazy thing.
But that's the way that is. It's just the nature of the thing.
But with music, it's amazing that there's no ceiling on how big. If you're big enough for the people, you can play to 200,000 people. That five people can be playing for 200,000 people, and crazy. It works.
Yeah, because music's magic.
Yeah,
because everybody has a relationship different, with the song, and they can listen to it over and over again.
Yeah,
and they're just all amazed. It's just it's a whole different thing.
Yeah,
but it's so funny that when they first started having bands at Madison Square Garden, I think I was talking to Terry Reid, who was opening in a band opening for Cream or somebody. I think it was Terry Reid.
Okay.
And when him and Clapton got into Madison Square Garden, and they were walking around it, looking at it, marveling at it, it was because they'd seen Sonny Liston fight there on television.
Yeah.
It wasn't because bands had played there.
There's no tradition
This
of
where
that.
the boxers were.
That is so funny. It's just because it's an all-purpose entertainment center.
Right.
Where it's just like...
Yeah.
We'll have Elvis is going to be here, and then there's going to be the Knicks are going to play a game tomorrow. And it's just like, then we're going to have a hockey game in here. It's just everything.
Yeah. Well, that was the weird thing about Carnegie Hall that I had to realize too, is as mythic as that place is, most of the time it's not filled.
It's some Saturday afternoon concert series.
Yeah. It's a Persian fiddle player. But I'm not saying that's bad. But I'm just saying,
it's not.
There's so much weight to it. It's Carnegie Hall, but it's no one ever goes there. It's like they run things every day.
Yeah.
4 times a week, and they're like, oh, we've only got 12 people in there for the Persian dance group.
Just this functional concert hall where it's just like we got to do something here.
The worst part about that night was outside of me not feeling great about it was, I had my management scrambled to get Katz's for everybody and put it in a room upstairs, but I wasn't told that, if we're there after a certain hour, they got to, pay the union overtime. Okay. So there was all this meat upstairs, and we all go into this room, and all these people came up, and they were literally like, "You got to get out." I'm like, what's going to happen to this meat?
It was kind of...
Yeah, it was rough. And I didn't realize that the festival was we don't want to pay them anymore.
Yeah.
You got to get out. Yeah. And then me and you walked 90 blocks.
Yeah.
And Nate Bargatze gave me some dip. I remember I had a skull pack in, and you and I were decompressing.
No, that was exciting. That was just
took the walk.
Seeing that whole thing, and just you kind of doing a post-game thing after. It was very flattering that you asked me to be there, and it was a special night. Even if it didn't feel. I remember you said you recorded it, even though it's not
I can't release it. I have it somewhere. Yeah. I have a hard time. I listen to it.
That'll be in your box set. It'll be in the box set.
I thought stand-up. I've talked to Schlissel about putting them out. He's got most of my records, to put them all out. But is comedy really like that? There were some records I've done, Final Engagement seems to resonate with some people because it's such a dark, angry record. And I recently talked to Louis Katz, who's a comic who's going through a breakup, and he's like, I listened to that thing. It was helpful. And it was one of these records where I'm like, I'm going through that separation. I'm heartbroken. I'm angry. I can barely keep my fucking sanity together. And I call up Schlissel, who does recording. I said, I think I got something you should just meet me in Seattle with the shit. And he did, and I got the worst comedy club in the world to let me work there.
Okay.
And we taped like 4 shows of me just sort of like in the darkest place in my life, and it exists in the world.
Yeah. Well, now it's
helpful to people that are going through heartbreak.
Yeah. You made that's the comedy equivalent.